Welcome to NDWH Athletics Zoom interview. We're joined by Dylan Reynolds and Zach Ardito, class of 2016, 2020 out of college. Guys, I tell my kids all the time, senior year goes fast in high school, or 4 years of high school goes fast. 4 years of college goes even faster. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I know, going through Notre Dame and then going into college, I thought Notre Dame flew by. And then once I got to college, I couldn't believe how fast I got through my 4 years there.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it feels like yesterday I was walking into the door as a freshman at Notre Dame, and here I am now speaking as a four-time alum. It's goes by way faster than you think.
Speaking of going fast, I know, maybe somewhat emotional for you, but both seniors now, you had your seasons and career cut short with the situation that we're going through right now. Dill, why don't you start with you? Tell us how your season was going and, kind of how everything came to a crashing halt in a short period of time.
Yeah, so we were actually down south. We were during spring break. We were playing Stetson, and we actually were struggling throughout the year to begin, and we were having problems taking our lumps against these good teams down south. And on Wednesday, we beat Stetson at their place, and they're a pretty good program, pretty good team. So we were hoping to build on that for the weekend as we travel down to Tampa to play USF, University of South Florida. And that next day on the bus on the way down, we kind of heard rumors about it, possibly maybe a suspension for a few weeks or something. But now the coach broke the news on the bus on our lunch break that the entire season had been canceled. And it was devastating, very emotional, obviously. But unfortunately, nothing you can do.
Zach, what about you in the season up at Hartford?
Yeah, so the season up at Hartford, throughout my 4 years there, we were off to the best start. I think we were 7-4 going into what was going to be that weekend. It was we just came off a game against Northeastern. We played pretty well. We didn't win, but it was a tight game, and we've been playing well all year. Even our losses were really tight games. And then after that, the next day we had practice. And we heard some rumors, kind of like Dylan said, and we went out to practice. Things were a little bit different. Our head coach, he wasn't out there yet. We knew he had a meeting that was kind of going to go over kind of what was going to happen. He ended up coming out, and we just he kind of told us, he was like, this is out of our hands. There's nothing we could really do about this. It's unfortunate, and this is kind of the way things are going. We didn't get a definite yet because it wasn't definite at this point. But after our practice, a little bit after that, he let us all know that we weren't going to have the rest of our season.
What were the emotions like with that, especially being seniors? You guys were the leaders your last year. I mean, I can only imagine what was going through your guys' heads.
Yeah, it was all the years of blood, sweat, and tears to get to this moment and enjoy your last year of playing baseball potentially, and just all kind of flew by just from something you can't control. It was definitely an emotional time. It still is an emotional time. It takes a while for it to sink in.
Zach, what about you, the emotions, especially with you and your seniors?
Yeah, I mean, it was something different because we had seen seniors play their last games before us, and it was at the end of the season. It was either a conference tournament, a regional appearance, and then they knew it was kind of coming to an end at that point, and for us, it was short and it was unexpected, and I think that was something that was different and a little bit harder, and something that we hadn't really seen or prepared for, because you kind of know when it's coming, and then with this, you just had no real idea that it was about to happen.
Looking back on your collegiate careers, what are you guys most proud of? From a on the field standpoint.
I would say just my class in general, our team success. I mean, the 3 years that I was able to be a part of the program, we won 2 regular season championships. And while we didn't win a conference championship, that was the ultimate goal, we just built a good foundation for how the program should be thought of and run. And I think hopefully in the freshmen and the younger classmen took note of that. And future recruits, hopefully we built the foundation for them to go forward and keep it going.
Zach, what about you in terms of what are you most proud of?
Yeah, what I would have to say is winning our conference tournament my sophomore year there. That was definitely the highlight of, I think, my career, and all of our seniors, anyone who was a part of that. I mean, that was the first one in our program's history. It was, I know it was special for all the people a part of it, coaching staff, even the training staff, everyone who was a part of it. It was a big deal for us. And that's definitely something that I'll always remember. It was probably the most iconic moment from my career at Hartford.
That's awesome. Did you guys ever meet? I mean, Quinnipiac and Hartford had to play at some point during the last couple of years. Did you guys ever play any games? And what do you guys remember, battling against each other with different uniforms on?
Yeah, we played each other, I think, at least once every year. And I know one year we had a 3-game series against each other. I think they got the better of us in the 3-game series. I know we usually played each other tight. They were always pretty good games. In-state teams too, so it was a decent rivalry there, and it was an enjoyable game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I think we played maybe five or six times. We're probably just about even 500 or something, but they were always competitive, always fun. It's cool playing against a teammate you had for so many years, summer ball, high school, and it's cool. It's different to see them on the other side, but it's cool to watch them succeed and be battling against each other on the same field.
Now, the NCAA did grant a waiver for all spring athletes. Will you guys take that up and play another year? Or, I know you're getting ready to graduate. You may have jobs. What does the future hold, the immediate near future?
There's a lot of moving parts with that whole thing. I know, yes, the NCAA approved it, but now it's kind of going through the school process now. The schools now have to approve it and to see how financially they can make it work for kids who want to come back and stuff like that. So I really don't know yet, just because we're kind of my coaching staff, we're kind of waiting on the school just to see what's going to be available, to see which kind of route we'll be able to take.
It's definitely something that I've considered and I thought long and hard about for sure, because like we've been saying, this is the last thing you expect, and you really don't want this to end how all the years of baseball is the last thing you expected the way to end. But I am electing to not go back. I'm going to hang it up. I feel like I've given it all I've got, and I'm going to go out with my same class that I came in with as freshman, and hopefully be successful in the job world coming up this summer and for years to come.
Speaking of that, you guys are getting ready to graduate. What did you major in? What do you want to do? What does the near future hold for you guys?
So I majored in liberal studies, which is a pretty broad topic, mainly in the business side, and my minor is marketing, and I'm hoping to pursue a career in sales or marketing for medical device companies.
Zach, what about you? What'd you major in, and what do you want to tackle next in life?
Yep. So I'm a criminal justice major at Hartford. I'm looking, if the whole baseball thing doesn't work out, going back. I'm looking at the police academy right now. I've been kind of filling out some applications for that and getting acclimated into going into the workforce, if that's what it's time for, and if it is, great. And I'm ready for it. I'll be ready for it. I'm excited for it. And if not, we'll go back, play another year, and see what comes of it.
All right. Well, you guys are going to be successful no matter what. I know that. Before we reflect on some pretty neat Notre Dame memories, how did Notre Dame prepare you for the academic world at the collegiate level? From in the classroom, time management with baseball, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame did a great job preparing us. At least speaking for myself, I think they did a great job, especially with the English department and the writing department, because for my major, we had to do a lot of writing and a lot of research into different court cases and crime documents. And I think our writing department and our English department there, that's something that I really took over into college, and I think they did a great job with. So,
I definitely agree. I mean, it's not many other schools can offer the same academic success and just rigorous work that Notre Dame has. And it was my first time ever encountering a situation where I had a substantial amount of schoolwork as well as a pretty committed team sport. You're practicing or you're playing 6 days out of the week. And it was really the first time I was able to find out how to balance my work through trial and error. And it just built a foundation for me, which I think lasts through college and made the transition much easier.
Well, one thing we wanted to do is kind of see where how you were doing and with the situation we were in. And, the second part of this, we wanted to kind of reflect on that state championship back in 2016 with this Zoom interview here. But how often does that, chilly Sunday afternoon, come into your thought process? Maybe we're on a bus to a game or when you're in the weight room, is that something that, you reflect on quite a bit? Zach, why don't you go first?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely thinking about it every once in a while. It's awesome to think about. It was a great experience. I have nothing but great things to say about it. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. So, and I mean, going to college, a lot of kids were from the same state. They're all from Connecticut, and we talk like, oh, did you guys win a state championship? Yeah, like, oh, I won this year. And I played against a lot of kids who I played with at college too. So it was definitely something to talk about, especially in the early years coming from Notre Dame, freshman, sophomore year of college. It's something that, yeah, we talked about, and it was really cool to be a part of a team like that.
What about you?
I agree. I mean, now that baseball's really over for me, you just try and take a look back as much as you can at the best memories you have in the sport, and that definitely falls in top 5, top 3, maybe even number 1. I mean, it's the last championship that I ever won, and it's something I think about more often now that baseball's all over than I ever did before. But it's stuff you remember like it was yesterday. Absolutely.
All right, you guys got a ring. You actually got 2 of them. There's a banner in the gym. That's not coming down. No one's taking that away. But I'm going to give you an injection of truth serum here. That team was 6-8 at one point during the season. Were you thinking state championship then? And what really turned it around to get you on a roll to that dog pile in June at Palmer Field?
Well, definitely not thinking state championship, to be completely honest. I mean, we were struggling as a team, 6-8. I feel like we take one step forward one game, then the next game we take 2 steps back, and it was just very frustrating from everybody. We all wanted to win. We all collectively were trying to do our best, and nothing was just clicking. But I think the game that really turned it around was at Fairfield Prep. I think Zach actually hit the go-ahead single to make it 2-1. We ended up beating them 2-1. And it was just a game where we battled and we grinded. And anytime you can go to Fairfield Prep and beat them, it's something that usually turns momentum around. And I think we finally gained the confidence that we needed to just keep going and get hot at the right time and roll all the way through.
Zach, 6-8. What were you thinking to try to turn that season around, which turned into a magical one?
Yeah. It definitely wasn't the start we were looking for. I mean, it was up and down in the beginning, really back and forth, and we knew we were a good team. I think we all knew that. We knew we had the ability to get there, but we weren't really showing it at that point. And like Dylan said, it was a turning point in the season. It was at that Fairfield Prep game where, get a win over a pretty good opponent. We played them tight in the past. They're always good every year. They have good kids going there. So, I mean, to get a win over a really good team it really helped a lot to turn that season around, get us on the right track. And then we won a whole bunch of games after that to get us to where we were. So
you talk about that run. You went on a one to get to an SEC championship game. Amity won that one pretty easily. Considering the role you were on, were you a little worried that might derail what was a pretty good run going into the state tournament?
I really wasn't that worried about it. I mean, Amity, they put a great program out on the field every year. There's no doubt about it. And, I think we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, and we were really looking forward to that state tournament. And, that's really what our goals was once we got there, going to that state tournament and trying to go and get a win there. So do I not really, but I think it was a really good team thing there.
What do you remember about that SEC championship game?
Yeah.
Any sort of carryover effect?
To second that, I mean, we definitely had our mindset more in the state tournament, which not the best thing looking back, but it definitely brought us down to reality a little bit and made us realize that, we're not the most invincible team in the world we can be if we keep playing hungry, but the second we let up, we can just get beat like this and our season could be over in a week or two. And I think in a weird way, it was actually a blessing in disguise because it just gave us, like we said, that back down to reality feeling, and that we didn't want this season to end the way it just did in that tournament. So I think it kept us going.
You guys see my Zoom background there at Quigley. You're kind of home away from home. What are your fondest memories of playing at Quigley during your Notre Dame career?
Yeah, I think some of my fondest memories there, I mean, it's really a team thing. Like just going there, like, cause we got to drive. I don't know how many teams in high school got to actually drive. When you got your license, you got to drive to Quigley and like you got to take people with you. So I think even starting from like leaving school, going to Quigley, like you make a lot of good memories there. And then like after a big win, you're all excited driving back, like playing music with the windows down, usually on a nice day. It was really, really cool to have that experience, to be able to have a little bit of time, like just with your teammates after driving like to and from games. It was really cool. So those experiences that I got with my teammates there, I think stand out more than anything.
Yeah, same here. I love those drives, especially as a young sophomore and even freshman for you, Zach. And you're a young kid. You don't have your license or anything yet, and you're driving with the seniors, and you're kind of looking up to them. You don't know. You want to see what they do and how they act, and you make some great memories with them as a young kid. And as you get older, you can really just instill those same practices and examples that they set for the kids that you're driving when they're freshmen and sophomores, and you can feel what they felt like and hopefully provide what you think is the best leadership you can.
All right, let's turn our attention to that championship game. When you woke up that morning, what were you thinking, and what was the attitude or the mindset on the bus heading up there?
I think that we were obviously a little bit nervous, as we all were, but we had at least three guys who have been in that spot before, been in that championship, and me, Zach, and Tyler Pine, and we just tried to hand over our leadership and our lead by example any way we can, and just relax these guys. Listen, it's just another game. It's just another game. We're going to be fine. We've been hot. We've been playing well all last month or so. And while it's championship game, you just have to play as loose as we've been playing for the past 15 games, and we should work out all right.
No, Zach, if memory serves me, it was a Sunday. We got rained out on Saturday. Did that, how did you have to adjust to that, knowing that you're kind of geared up to play, and now you got another 24 hours before you can put the uniform on?
Yeah, the waiting's definitely the worst part about it. I do remember the game getting canceled, getting pushed off another day, and it was tough. But I think we all knew what we were in for, and we had to stay focused and keep our mindset on what we were going up there for. Another thing, like the bus ride, it's a long bus ride to Middletown to go play at Quigley, Xavier's Park up there, and I think the bus ride and the waiting that whole day, I mean, that was the worst part for me. I mean, you're definitely nervous during that whole thing, and really up until the point where you get on the field and you really start getting into the game is when you could really start settling in, letting the pace of the game kind of take place and play the game.
Now we talked about it. You're 6-8. You lost an SEC championship game, so now you're down 2-0 going down to your last at bat. You guys had no problems or no worries that you're going to win that game, right?
I mean, it's not over till it's over. I mean, I know we all think that. We all had a lot of passion, a lot of faith that we were going to really give it a shot to come out and win that game. And going into that inning, I know we didn't have a runner on until we got 2 outs, so it was tough. And once we got a runner on, we got another runner on. We ended up getting the bases loaded. I think I walked with the bases loaded. Next at bat, Dylan got hit by a pitch, and we tied it up there. And I think once we got our momentum swing, there was no handing it back.
Now, Dill, Zach gets the walk to load the bases, 2 outs, state championship game. I mean, it's every at bat or every swing in the cage when you're growing up, you're probably dreaming of a moment like that. I'm sure you're probably thinking of a double to the gap to clear the bases, but you got the job done. Take us through that at bat.
Yeah, like you said, it's something that you dream about. You work so hard for, and you're like, if this comes in my spot, I'm going to execute any way I can for the team and either tie or to win it. But I honestly wasn't very nervous. I just took a deep breath, smiled, and I was like, whatever happens, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to try with all I got. And if it's not enough, it's not enough. But my plan was to, like you said, try to get a ball in the hole or in a gap where I knew 2 runs could score, and we could hopefully leave them on the field and win it right there. But as I got the 2 strikes, I tried to battle and fight every kind of strike off, any kind of pitch off that I could that I knew was close. And he made a mistake, and he threw a curveball, and I was going to do anything I could to let it hit me.
So we get the tie and run there. Now, Zach, you're on the mound at that point. They get, if my memory serves me, I believe they get the winning run to third base in the bottom of the 7th. What are you thinking about in your approach there to get one last out to get your guys another chance at runs in the 8th?
Right, yeah, they did. Got the runner to third. I know Frank Longley, he really came in, made a great play on a bunt where the runner was at second on this point. He made a diving play on a bunt that was up in the air, ends up catching the ball. And the next pitch I throw like up and behind the kid. And I was like, oh, there goes they basically just bunted him over there. But I was still riding a little bit of the wave from Frank making a really good play and a lot of energy in the stadium. So after I threw the pitch up behind the kid, I really settled in, and I was like, okay, I mean, there's 2 outs. I could go get, if I get this kid out, like, we go back to the dugout, hopefully have a chance to win the game. I think it was a 3-2 count. It got him to a 3-2 count, ended up throwing a curveball and striking him out on a 3-2 count. So I knew, if we could just get the momentum going into the next inning, we already had scored the 2 runs before that to tie it. I thought we had a really good shot to come out and win it.
You get 3 runs in that top of the 8th inning and really take control of that game. You get the 3 outs and I think it was 3 straight ground balls to Tyler Pine, another senior. That happens and you get the first out, the second out, and then, you get the third one. What's going through your mind at that point? I can only imagine.
Dylan, you want to take that one?
Yeah. I mean, it's just since day one we were preaching it. I know we had our ups and downs, but since day one of senior year was where you want to go out on top. You don't want to lose in state tournament. You don't want to lose ever. You want to win your last game you ever play in high school. And just to finally accomplish that after all the hours and days and the weeks, just to finally know that we were number 1 after it was all said and done. It just was the best and longest run from center field and the best dog pile I've ever had. And it just was definitely more special too, knowing that it was Coach Martone's first. Hopefully many more to come for him.
Zach, if you see Tyler fielded, he throws it over, and you get that third out. You're the pitcher in that game. You get the winning pitcher. Who are you looking for? Someone to hug? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, I just remember I threw the pitch, ground ball to Tyler. I looked, he fielded it through. I kind of followed the ball across the infield. Frank Longley caught it, recorded the last out over at first base. I think I ran right to Tyler. We kind of met right about on the mound, and then we were met by the rest of the team. And, that feeling, it was like nothing I've really had before, being on the mound in that kind of situation and having everyone right there. I think once everyone gets there and it really starts to set in is the most important, memorable part of the whole experience for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's look some big picture questions as we kind of wrap this up here. But senior class of 2020, similar to you guys going through this, COVID-19 situation. But what advice would you give them as they prepare to head off to a college campus, next fall? And hopefully that does happen. We'll worry about that later. But what advice would you give them to take from their Notre Dame experience to allow them to succeed that freshman year of college?
Yeah, I would say that, it's first off to the seniors, all the students, you're not alone. We're all with you. There's many other people that are with you during this tough time, and it's not ideal, but we're going to get through it, and we're going to work your way out, and it's going to be hopefully better in the future soon enough. But sometimes you take for granted what you're in. You're in a system for 4 years at ND, and sometimes you take it for granted, and you don't know how good you have it. And then one big thing for me was when I left and went to college and see all these different kids and all their different backgrounds, where they come from and how they were brought up in their high school and everything. We have it really lucky, and it's something that I look back and I cherish every moment of it because not many other people had it as good as we did.
Zach, what advice would you give, the class of 2020?
Yeah, definitely. For all of them, don't take anything for granted. You never know when something might come to an end. I know everyone always says it. It's kind of like something you've always heard, but I mean, I think this is an example for a lot of people all across the spectrum, athletes, non-athletes, people who I know people missed out on choirs, performing arts, stuff like that. It's not just athletes, for anyone. And just, take advantage of the little moments, the little special moments that you have. And when you go into college, just, try to make as many memories as you can and cherish that time because it's going to go by fast. I know it did for me. I think Dylan said it did for him as well. And I think the best people you could hear from are people who are, just about ending it right now and just reflecting on how fast it really did go by.
Great advice, guys. Great advice. And one last one for each of you. I'll just, kind of leave it open-ended. Any sort of message you want to, give to, your teammates, ND Nation, anybody, give one last shout out, go right ahead, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I just want I thank all the teachers, coaching staff at ND, Hartford, for always, putting me out there and believing in me and giving me the opportunity in this platform and to be able to succeed at whatever I'm doing academically, athletically, business wise. I know I'm always going to have support from you guys, Hartford, the guys there, and I would really just shout out to all of them, my parents, for always helping me out, always believing in me, taking me back and forth to games, and just don't take anything for granted. Keep playing, and it'll be good.
Dill, go ahead.
Yeah, just to second off that, I want to say thank you again. ND Nation, you really don't know how good you have it until it's gone and it's in the past, and you can only reflect on the memories. But you want to cherish every moment you have, and there's no better place to be than Notre Dame. And every day is a great day to be a Green Knight, no matter pandemic or not.
That's awesome. Well, it was fun following you guys' college careers, and we know you'll be successful. And you always have that memory, at Palmer Field on that Sunday in June to reflect on, and they can't take that away from you. And we appreciate your time today, and we know you'll be successful in the future, and it'll be good to see you at some point in time when all this is over.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Kirk.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you.
As well, all right? One more time, right? Loud and proud brotherhood, because that's what this is all about. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Brothers! Hey, keep it in.